This week on the podcast, we talk about anime live-action American adaptations, which were good, which were bad, and then dive deep down, but not really, into Cowboy Bebop and other future adaptations coming soon to a theater near you.
Except they're not.
But they could be.
Except the ones on Netflix.
But they could be. I was trying to think of something else to say after that. Everybody, you're listening to the Son of a Geek Podcast.
Son of a Geek!
Ooh, look at that. We got it in there. It's edited in now.
It's in there, yeah. Somebody else did it. It wasn't me this time. Wow, it's we're professional now.
It's still Zio, but we've got it in there.
I mean, it's me, but like it's not me at the same time.
No, well, it kind of happened that. So we're talking about anime today, but not just any kind of anime.
Ooh.
We're actually not really talking about anime at all. It's the anime movie adaptations.
Oh, man. So I'm very interested to talk about this topic. I'm excited about it because I have feelings about them.
Yeah, and you're someone who has very passionate feelings about things.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, more than some.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I love anime, and I love the idea of live action adaptations of these animes. But America's not so good at them. We're not good at them at all.
No. Sorry, Hollywood, you guys suck.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's definitely some barrier that is preventing us from just doing them very well. We have a couple of okay ones.
I can tell you exactly what I think it is.
Okay.
And I think I'm 100% correct about it. And it's that Hollywood is just a big bunch of tough guys. They're tough guys.
Yep. And so, I think there's a lot of producer mix-ups as well. That they're like, America won't like this. The fans aren't that big. We need to cater to the general audience.
A great example of this, which it's a quick one, and it's not related to anime, but it's related to, we talked about it before, Harry Potter, the new stuff that's going through with Fantastic Beasts and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The main actor, he had less of a presence than what they originally intended for him to have, because Hollywood was like, well, he's not, they basically went and said, he's not the kind of guy that we think people love. They want someone that's tough, that's strong, who's a good charismatic leader.
Yeah.
And he's charismatic, but not in the Hollywood type of charisma.
Right. Yeah, he's not that standard quippy guy.
No, they're a bunch of guys that like to drink their booze, talk about women, and be tough in sports and stuff.
Well, I think we're past that aspect of it. I think it's more about comedic, quippy guy. So, think about it. Who are the last big actors? You got Robert Downey Jr., who started it. Then you get Chris Hemsworth, who turned Thor into a quippy, tough guy. Then you got Chris Pratt, who used to be a comedian and is just a quippy, tough guy. Then you got Doctor Strange, Peter Parker. I mean, I'm using superheroes as an example because they're kind of leading the industry of the movies right now. So that's kind of the new standard of your male charismatic guy.
No, it's a fair way of putting it, and I can't remember the name of the guy from Fantastic Beasts, but I mean he was
Eddie Redmayne.
I think so. But his character was more of he was still a tough guy, but in his own
kind of an introvert.
Yeah, I don't want to say soft because that's not the right word for it, but hopefully it kind of conveys what I mean. He's a tough guy, but he has a very you could almost say somewhat of a effeminate approach to things. Mm-hmm. Effeminate, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Masculine and the opposite. He's more to the other side than the masculine.
Yeah, no, completely. But I mean, we've had a couple try to be tough guys in some animes, right? Isn't there? There's got to be a couple anime movies where the tough guy was there.
I honestly don't. I mean, well, there's tons of them, but then they've usually got other weird things.
Yeah.
That is different and strange. Whereas in Japan, you can go to sections of Japan and it's just like, whoa, look at all this stuff.
Yeah,
whereas in America, that would be shunned.
The abnormality. Yeah,
you would get beat up.
They care about completely different things between the two different cultures and such. But I mean, there's got to be a way to do justice, right? There's got to be a way to do Americanized live action justice, as I do think we do have a few movies that are mildly successful.
Mm-hmm. There've been a few of them. And even though I don't know, it's tough because the success has come for them in different ways. Whether it's from a critical standpoint and a fan disappointment, or a fan excitement and a critical disappointment. Like I don't think there has ever been like
One
a solid
that's
like both of them.
Covered all of them. That's true. I mean, Alita Battle Angel, I think that's probably the most successful one.
Mm-hmm. Although I think its critic score is only around like a 60%. Or it's I think it's Rotten Tomatoes was like 60%.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I'm pretty like. While that sounds bad, I think that's pretty successful for in terms of most anime adapted movies.
Well, because here's the tough part too: is any sort of adaptation already is difficult to pull off, because in a book form or a comic form or an anime form, it's much longer.
Yeah.
They have so much more time to go in and get all these other details. But in a movie, you've only got anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours, depending on the type of movie. So there's things that got to get cut out.
What about Ghost in the Shell, though? That one was adapted straight from a movie.
It had, but it was different.
What made it bad?
I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought
no.
It was, as a movie, it was good.
A lot of people agree that it wasn't a great adaptation.
No, because there was. It's honestly, again, it's tough because if Ghost in the Shell wasn't a thing, if they just came up with that movie, I think it would have done a lot better. But because there's so many people that had an expectation of what Ghost in the Shell was, and then the people that were creating this movie they made their own creative choices, their own creative designs to adapt it into an American setting. And unfortunately, there's a lot of the flavor of what made it so special that was lost because of it. Just because there were changes that were made. And I don't know. I don't think...
That's the point of the adaptation, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, you're making the changes to kind of fit your setting a little better. Marvel kind of has always done a good job with their adaptations. Granted, they don't adapt,
but it's already Americanized for the most part.
Okay.
And I think what helps with the comic books is they've been around for so long that heroes have been redone throughout the comic books many times now. So the idea of the movie taking things differently, I think, is something that's kind of accepted already, because there's like 4 or 5 different Spider-Mans in the comics.
Oh, I see what you mean. So there's different interpretations of them already, so having another one isn't as dramatic as opposed to an anime where there's only been one interpretation of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's part of what allows it to be more accepted in the comic book sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, from what I understand of the complaints about Ghost in the Shell is, one, a lot of people had issues with Scarlett Johansson being the casted person. Did you have an issue with her?
No,
I didn't either. Actually,
I thought she did a good job.
I thought she did too. And what's funny is I remember when all that controversial stuff was going around with her being casted as a Japanese actress or a Japanese character. There's this one YouTuber in Japan who went around interviewing people on the streets.
Oh yeah, you sent this one to me.
Yeah, showing them Scarlett Johansson playing this character, and everyone's like, "Yeah, she'll be great. I'm very excited to see that."
Yeah,
I just thought it was really funny how America got upset for Japanese people, and the Japanese people didn't mind it at all.
But America, North America, is also. It's been going through. See, this is a really dangerous topic, Zio.
What are you talking about? This is the fun topics, man.
Well, North America's always had a problem with, and to be fair, it's there for a reason with just different racial roles and stereotypes, and so things have there's a lot of what's happening now. It is just as a result because of how poorly people have been treated in the past. Yeah. And there's still lots of people that get treated extremely poorly today. And I think there's a lot of that comes into play that makes these kinds of things difficult, where they're like, why look where they just see it. They're like, look at that. Another white actor coming in to take somebody else's role.
Yeah. I can understand.
So there's a lot of perspective that comes from that.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand it. honestly, I think it's more of I'm willing to give anybody a shot in the role because they do it all the time with all different types of characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Ghost in the Shell is bad either. I actually enjoyed it as a movie, but I don't think it's as good as the anime just because the anime went deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think Ghost in the Shell kind of dumbed it down for American audiences as opposed to keeping the very in-depth storyline that the original movie had.
Which is fair, because I mean, they were doing it as a standalone. I don't believe there was any intention to do another one after it.
Right, but even in the anime, the first movie works as just a standalone movie.
Yeah.
So like they could have just done a scene for scene replacement. I think a lot of people would have liked it, but then at the same time, some people complain because they take no creative liberties.
Yeah. Well, what's also complicated about it is, you have there's a sense of freedom that you have with like hand drawn or like 2D art animation and stuff like that compared to what you have with 3D and live action. Because with animation in like live action, we see things live action all the time. So there's lots of stuff that we notice and we're like, this doesn't look real or this looks fake. Whereas with 2D work, everything in 2D, any sort of animation work that's done in it, everything's exaggerated. Anytime if you go and pause frame by frame, like there's tons of memes and GIFs all over the internet of just what looks absolutely terrible. But it's just because of how everything works together in the animation for how our eyes work. It helps blend things together. And because of that exaggeration, it allows us to kind of get away with a lot more. Just because it's easier to show a robot destroying a city in an anime versus trying to make it look realistic in a 3D setting. Because there's so much more work that has to go into like the lighting and setting up all this stuff. Whereas in the animation, like in the 2D, not saying like one's more hard to do than the other, but in the 2D, you draw it and you sketch it and you adjust the lights this way and that way. And it's much easier to make fine adjustments and details in that than it is to do in actual 3D.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand that. And I do agree that visually it would be harder for any anime to be adapted into a live action. But we're here to figure out what the issues are.
Yeah. Sorry. Got a little off on sidetrack there.
No, that's perfectly fine. No, I 100% agree with you there. But I do think we've gotten better as a society, like over the last 20 years of trying to adapt any anime into a live action. I do think our last couple have been pretty successful, minus like one or two, like Death Note. That one wasn't good. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen. When we first talked about this before the podcast, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a great one. But I didn't even know there was an American adaptation of Death Note.
Now, have you seen Death Note, the anime, at all?
No, I haven't seen the anime.
Okay, so you
need
to watch that.
I keep getting told that, but I have such high expectation, and the anime has already been spoiled for me. I know everything, all the major points that happen in it, so there's no point in me even watching it.
That's not true. The journey is just as exciting as... just like a video game, Spen. The journey is just as exciting for the anime. Especially with Death Note.
Spoilers ruin everything.
With Death Note. Not true. It's true.
I can't stand spoilers, Leo.
Well, besides, you've watched the movie already, so you would know the anime anyways.
Exactly, so there's no point. I've already seen it. It's good.
It's better. It's way better than the Japanese live action one, for one. It's 100 times better than the Americanized one.
Well, it's not like it's not on my to-watch list. It's just the to-watch list grows faster than I can watch the anime. It's just like...
right here, right now. Everybody listen to the podcast. Comment below if you want Spen to watch it.
Okay.
We'll make him watch it together.
Zio, I have a compromise for you right now.
Oh, no. I don't like compromises. I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm going to show you something right now, and here's the reason why you're going to be okay with me not watching it, all right? I'm going to turn on my Switch, okay?
Oh, okay.
Look at what I'm currently playing.
One side is missing. Final Fantasy VII?
Final Fantasy VII.
Nice.
I'm currently in the middle of playing the game right now.
Oh my god, hold on. Let me see the screen. I want to guess where you're at. I can barely see. That looks like you're in Shinra Tower. Floor
You've played this game too
62?
many times.
Is it floor 62?
No, it's floor 60.
Dang it.
I'm stuck. We're gonna talk about it after. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I gotta find a key card so that I can get to the next
Next floor.
to get to like the 65 or something like that. But all the other doors are locked, and I can't back up behind me. I'm stuck in the game right now. So.
Oh well,
but I've been playing it every day. I've picked it up and I've played a little bit of it. So
that's awesome. I am
enjoying
excited.
it. So
I'm glad.
There you go. That's why I can't do Death Note right now.
I'll accept it for now.
See? Okay.
I'll accept it for now.
Okay.
But yeah. So the Americanized Death Note though it's pretty bad. Now I will say I did defend this against a lot of friends that I have that have watched Death Note. They hate this movie. And it is bad compared to the anime. Now, just as a movie, I think it's all right. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's terrible. I think what makes it terrible is because it has the anime before it.
Okay.
Because it's not faithful, like, at all. The most faithful this thing is it has a character named Light, has a death angel named Ryuk, and has a Death Note in it.
Even the main character's different?
Yeah, his personality is wildly different.
Interesting.
Like, so my biggest thing, and I say this about like why it's okay with superhero movies, and I'll even say this about animes. I feel like if you keep the essence of a character, you have a lot more liberties you can take. Because as long as that character's personality and traits is still there, I think you can get away with changing storylines and stuff. Because at least you're not warping the main reason people watch it.
Okay.
And they fucked over Light. Like, really bad.
Because Light's the name of the not the main.
character.
Oh, is it the main character?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, L's the other guy.
Yeah, L is the antagonist. Yeah.
Well, is he though? Oh, is he though? There's so many theories.
The story follows Light, thus making him the protagonist.
But is he actually the protagonist?
He's the protagonist, but he's not a good guy.
But is he really a good guy?
No, I just said he wasn't.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah,
But,
I'm cautious of going and watching that one, but I might go check it out. Maybe I'll
I
just
would
watch
say
Death Note,
if-
and
if-
then I don't have to watch the anime.
No. I would definitely say watch the live action movie first, and then watch the anime, and I think you'll be less disappointed.
Okay.
But,
All right. Well, maybe I'll do that then.
don't do it the other
eventually.
way around.
Okay.
The other way around will kind of ruin it for you.
So we do have a few more to talk about. I think we should talk about Avatar: The Last the Last Airbender last. I think we should save that one for the end.
Why that one last?
Well,
and
no,
not
sorry. Well, that's
the
second
infamous
last.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
We should save Airbender for the last of the. I was making a really stupid joke. Because
the last.
Yeah, it's the last Airbender.
I gotcha. I gotcha. The last Airbender, but not least.
No. Well, before we get into that though, Speed Racer. That was a really long time ago that adaptation came out.
It was about.
Because I forgot that was even a thing. Wait, you said when?
2008, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
It was like 2008 or 9. I was in high school.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the anime for Speed Racer, but I thought it was all right. I didn't leave the movie going like, "Oh, this is great. I'm really glad I saw it." It was just more like, cool.
I think what went wrong with Speed Racer is I thought it was really, honestly, pretty like adaptation worthy. It was pretty accurate.
Because it is rated fairly highly for faithful adaptations.
It is a very faithful adaptation. I think the issue was it's just a bad movie.
Oh, okay.
I think the biggest issue was like the storyline wasn't great. It was just a lot of Because, I mean, the show didn't have a whole lot of depth, I don't think. I mean, granted, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I don't remember the show having so much depth that it really stuck with me.
Okay. I'll
And
have
then
to double check then.
turning that into a movie, I think, was challenging because it just didn't have enough meat to really give it a good story feel for a movie.
Okay.
I think if this was a YouTube video, like if they just took one scene and made it a YouTube video, that YouTube video would be highly praised.
Interesting. That's fair. It'd be a very expensive YouTube video.
Oh yeah, so expensive. But I'm saying like it's one of those cases where I think that one may have been too faithful, which is weird to say.
That's fair. I don't remember too much about it because it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of racing in it.
Yes.
Fast racing.
From a speed
racing.
racer. All right. So a speed racer, I think that's the issue. But now The Last Airbender, you saw that, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. M. Night Shyamalan. Oh man, like when I first saw this movie, I didn't hate it.
Same.
But at the same time, I hadn't watched the anime yet. So when I watched the anime, then I saw the issues people had. It's hard because I only saw the movie once and I don't remember much of it.
Well,
I was a kid.
What's tough is the anime spends so much time with all the different characters. All the characters get time to shine. We get all this time to experience all of them, and then the dynamics between them. And
you
this
don't get that in the movie
didn't do that. There were like some of the like Sokka's supposed to be this super funny, great guy. He's the comic relief basically of everything.
Yeah.
And he was just a side character that occasionally had a moment where we're like, oh, that's right, he's also still here.
I think the issue with most animes being adapted is you're taking a long storyline. Like The Last Airbender is
24 episodes roughly.
24 episodes total?
I don't remember,
I thought it was
but there's a
longer than
lot.
that. I thought there's a few seasons of it.
Well, there's 3 seasons, but we only got the movie was only over book 1.
Okay.
There was supposed to be a movie for each book.
Oh, okay.
But there's a reason why it didn't happen.
Yeah, like it would be better adapted into a show. Like if you're gonna adapt animes, I think most of them, especially if it's a series, needs to be adapted as a seasonal episode thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just like look at the size of again, I'm bringing up Harry Potter, but look at the size of the books from like the first Harry Potter movie, or sorry, the first Harry Potter book. It's a small book. Like it's small compared to normal books. And even in the movie, there was so much stuff they didn't have time to put in. And so
and the Harry Potter movies are actually pretty widely regarded as good. They just skipped a lot of details.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard to take roughly 24 20-minute show and then be like, well, let's do this in like 5% of that.
At that point, you're taking 12 hours of content and you're squishing it into 2 hours.
Yeah. That's not going to go over well.
No, it definitely.
That being said, there's a lot of stuff in Airbender that could be considered filler.
True.
Fun filler.
True.
It still has character development, but
yeah, no, and that's absolutely true, but like I guess that's where the challenge is. Kind of like,
wait a minute, Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's not. Was that a manga? Or was it? It was American cartoon.
I think it was.
Oh shit! This doesn't really fit in, does it?
I don't think it technically counts as an anime, but
I mean, it's still regarded as
it's
like
fine.
An honorary anime.
It's fine. We did perfectly fine.
Yeah, we did our research, guys.
That's right. We're professionals here.
So I think all in all, it was okay. The only tough part though is even as a movie, it wasn't great.
No.
Even if you took everything else out.
Now, if they redid it, I would like to see them redo it as a TV show.
Or even if they, because I think roughly there's 3 important story beats in each of the seasons. And even if they didn't do that and they did like 2, they could get away with 2, but it would be better with 3 movies for each thing. And I think that would be good. That'd be a long time to get all that done. And by the time I got to the end, the actors would be like 50, but you know, it's, I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah, it would be a long time.
But you're right,
But,
TV show would be way better.
I stick by that with most anime adaptations. I would say if they did it as a TV show as opposed to a movie, they'll probably get a lot more success out of it because you can be more faithful.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, why not? What I guess this comes into stuff we'll be talking about. I've got some ideas on what they should do. I guess we could always talk about it now. Why not do more adaptations that are like side stories? Why not do a live action adaptation of something with the characters, but have it not like let's say they did, because let's say they made an American version of Full Metal Alchemist. And they did it where Al and Ed are on vacation somewhere. They're taking a break from some stuff. They're in another city. Some other stuff goes down. The movie takes place in this other thing that's not related to the main story at all. So they can still have their creative decisions, have the story do some interesting things, and then have a conclusion. But it's a movie of an adaptation where it's a side story.
That's an interesting concept. I mean, that's what the anime movies do, right? So, like, the anime
you might cut
movies,
out there for me.
I said that's an interesting concept because it's kind of what the anime movies do.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, they're like side stories, not a part of the main canon, but they exist.
Except for Hero Academia. All of their movies are apparently canon.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And what's really weird. All right, Zio, this isn't a spoiler, okay? This is something that they should have told everybody and had some sort of information at the beginning of the movie. The new movie for The Hero Academia takes place in the future, farther past what the manga and anime are currently at.
What?
Yep.
That's weird.
But it's done in a way where it's really well done. At least it doesn't give away anything, but it's really cool. But they should have let everybody know that before.
Yeah, they definitely should have. Well, I
went in and I'm just like, what is this? How can they do some of these things? And then I read later, I'm like, oh, okay.
I think the issue with doing that, though, is, one, in the anime community, they can get away with it because the anime followers have already watched the anime, most likely. So when they watch the movies, it's extra. They know all the information. When you're making an adaptation, especially a live-action adaptation, you do have to consider a general audience.
Yeah,
now,
but
if they did that, there wouldn't be. Let's just take your Full Metal Alchemist as an example, right? So in this movie, they're off on vacation.
Yeah.
Well, that's the start of the movie. The general audience is gonna be like, "Who are these people? Why are they here? Why is that guy a robot? Why does that guy have a robot arm?" And though you don't have to explain everything in complete detail, there does have to be some sort of a beginning for the audience to follow.
Well, but they can do that kind of stuff. But if they're going to do that, one of the issues that American movies has is they need to treat us like we're not idiots. Like we can follow along and understand what's happening. Because they can do things where they have the two of them on vacation. Some girl's really sad about something or whatever. Maybe one of them goes and does a quick little alchemy, like builds something. Doesn't have to be big. It could be something small. So now we know, oh, cool, look what they can do. It's this weird alchemy thing. And then they can slowly build stuff on it. Instead of having to do something where they sit there and explain to us, like, these are alchemists, they're on vacation, they can do all these cool things, now let's talk for 5 more minutes and then we'll get to the movie and now you understand everything that you don't actually needed to know.
Well, yes, you're right, we don't need that because 100% like audience aren't idiots. You do need something you do have to have something there. You have to explain something to some capacity. There has to be, unfortunately, some sort of dialogue. There has to be something to tell the story leading up to there because it's connecting itself to an anime, especially if it's branching off of that anime's storyline. There has to be a connection.
It doesn't have to branch off of the storyline, though. We could have adaptations that are completely separate things. Like let's kind of like what they've done with some of the movies. Like I think a good example is there's a movie called, like, in the Naruto series, Naruto Blood Prison, where the anime or the movie starts out where they're sitting in this office with the person that you clearly know is in charge because she's yelling at these people, and it's like, you did this thing, what's going on, we're sending you to jail. And he's like, no, I didn't do it. And then it's just like, it doesn't treat us like we're stupid. It doesn't really explain too much of what's going on. Yeah, there's a few powers at the end that if you haven't seen the actual show, you won't quite know what's going on, but it still is a complete movie that you kind of come to understanding of what everybody's role is. Okay, these people are important, and it's done completely separate from everything else, but it's still tied in so that it's still people that are in love with the series, they can still follow along with it. But if you don't know anything about it, you still have an idea of what's going on, and it's still an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I mean, that being said, I mean, it is very difficult to find like a nice balance for that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I guess they need to take more chances instead of deciding what they know is best for everybody, and then just trying to keep with that same kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They do need to take chances, but they do take chances. They just change too much with those chances.
But I don't know. It's tough because it's from my perspective, it seems like they're taking chances, but they're just taking chances to make it to what they are used to doing. So it's not really taking chances, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I felt like what happened with what's it called? The Ghost in the Shell movie, where they did change stuff, but they changed stuff enough that it was to something that was familiar to I don't remember the name of the the director for the movie, but there was stuff like you could go watch some of the other movies he did and you'd get a very similar feel.
Well, like, I mean, that's just going to be people's style, yeah.
But it was, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It was more than the style, though.
Okay.
So it was, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of picky with some of those things. So.
No, I completely understand. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm picky about certain things, too. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get something faithful again in the future. Maybe there'll be, I mean, I do know they are adapting Cowboy Bebop. That's becoming a live action series in Netflix, but it's a series. So that's kind of like where I think it would do better. And I believe it's going to be better because it is a series and not a movie.
Well, I think Cowboy Bebop is going to be one of the best ones they could do with the least chance to screw it up. I don't want to. I think that's coming across a little harsh, but there's a lot of stuff to do with Cowboy Bebop that was inspired by American, what was it? It was like noir and some like there's a lot of stuff that happens
spaghetti
in it.
westerns and
there was
I do agree with that. It does have a lot of like western inspiration, but Cowboy Bebop's also one of the highest regarded animes of all time. Mm-hmm. Like anime fans love Cowboy Bebop. And if they fuck it up, it's not going to be good.
Where I think it's going to not be the same, and I think what's going to be the downfall of the TV series is Cowboy Bebop. It has lots of action and moments, but it's still fairly like low key is not the right word for it. But it still has a really nice balance that keeps things fairly close to like a straight line where there's moments where it jumps up and there's moments where things come back down, but it still, for the most part of the movie, keeps close to this like single layer where it's not as high action and high intense as what we're typically used to in those kinds of things.
I think you'll be fine because I don't think they're going to go the action route with it. I think what they're probably going to do is maybe go
I hope so. What they need to do is they need to get Joss Whedon in there and then have him bring his Firefly crew because they've got similar vibes and feels. And
I can
as long as he can be there,
I don't want Joss
Whedon to
just
point
and
say,
involved.
"No, you're getting off track."
I like Joss Whedon, but I don't want him to be involved. I think getting somebody else's vision who is a fan of the show might do a better job.
That's true.
Because I don't know how much Joss Whedon loves anime, but like if he's not a fan of it, getting him to adapt it probably wouldn't be the best choice because he likes his creative freedom.
No. Well, what I meant was more in the sense of what actually got me to watch Firefly and find it was after I watched Cowboy Bebop. Just because the two of them have a similar style and feel.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That's fair. Either way, I'm pretty excited. I do like the casting they've got for it, so
it looks promising. It looks promising.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think where it's going to change, though, is I think it's going to be 13 episodes. It might be 10 or 13.
Well, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad because there's 26 episodes in the season. And they're all 20 minutes. So if they do 13-hour-long episodes, they'll probably be fine.
But here's the tough part. If you look into Cowboy Bebop, I think there's a meme about Cowboy Bebop where it's about 5 or 6 episodes of the whole Cowboy Bebop TV show are canon, and then the rest is filler.
Oh, really?
There's so much that happens in Cowboy Bebop that is essentially just side stories that you don't need. It's like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then I think it's the last 2 are the only. If you just watched those, you'd get the full experience of Cowboy Bebop.
I don't know about the first 2 or 3. Like,
I'll have to see if I can find this. I was gonna say, crazy.
I'm watching it recently, and the episode 2 is kind of like pretty unnecessary, minus the part where they get Ein. Other than that, it's really not a necessary episode. Or episode 1 even, I don't think is like very plot heavy. I do agree that there's quite a few where it's mostly filler and stuff, but that's part of what people love about it. It's your next adventure kind of thing. Yeah. And then what they'll probably do with this show is a very similar format, but they'll sprinkle a little more canon stuff in each episode.
No, I think so. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I'll have to look it up later because every time I go to look for it, you start lagging out for me.
Oh no! But I'm excited about Cowboy Bebop. I think they're gonna do it justice.
I think so. I think if there's any adaptation that I had to put money on, it would be this one.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't suck.
Hopefully it doesn't. We'll find out. We'll definitely review it. I think that would be fun.
Because they're doing this on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a Netflix series.
And are they going to do the classic all episodes out at once? Or are they going to do kind of what Stranger Things did for their first season?
They better do it all at once. I want to binge.
I want it one episode at a time. Because I feel that's part of what makes a series so special. If all of the Game of Thrones episodes came out at once, Game of Thrones would not have the hype that it has today.
Fair. Now, I'll kind of agree with you. Netflix recently did this with the show I enjoyed with my wife, where they released 4 episodes every week.
Okay.
So it was a 3-week event, basically. It was 12 episodes total, and they just did spurts of 4s. I like binging more than one episode. But I can get behind 4 episodes a week because then, like, I looked forward to it the next week.
Mm-hmm.
1 episode every week, I'm kind of tired of that format just because, like, you want more every time and it's smart. It makes you wait, and it's how you make something longer. But I do think, like, if they did 2 or 3 episodes a week, I'd be 100% okay with that.
So what you're saying is 1 episode a week, not cool, but 1 episode a month, that's all right.
Hey, we only do 1 episode a month because we physically can't make it. That's the issue. Like, it's a time work constraint. If I did nothing but next to nothing for my job, I'd be able to release weekly.
Look, I'm not judging, all right? I'm not judging.
And we do weekly content, thank you very much. Every Friday, we have next to nothing content. It's just not the main episodes. We do filler.
I know.
Like Cowboy Bebop. We do filler episodes.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I still
100%.
hope that they do the 1 week at a time because I really enjoy that. It's
1
part
week
of
at
what
a time
keeps me watching
would
some
work,
shows.
but that's the problem with Netflix is people like Netflix because you can binge.
That is true.
I do think, like I said, the strategy, if they just did like pairs of 3s, 3 episodes here, 3 episodes here, 3 episodes here, I think that would work. because you can still binge a little bit, but then you still gotta wait.
Well, how long were the episodes of the show that you were watching? And what was the show?
They were an hour. I don't wanna mention it.
Oh, really? No.
It's
what show?
All right,
Here,
all right.
just type it out to me. I won't say it out loud.
Yeah. All right, fine. I'll admit it. So this goes against like everything I like about TV. So I hate.
Oh, this is like a drama show, isn't it?
Kind of.
Like is it okay? I'm gonna give me 3 chances to guess kind of what it's about.
All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Is it something along the lines of like the Real Housewives?
No.
Does it have anything to do with home improvement?
No.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even gonna make the 3rd guess, and I have no idea. All right. Are there lots of nudie shots?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Netflix doesn't do that kind of stuff usually.
Yeah. Trying to think. What's it called? Reality TV.
Yeah.
I don't like reality TV. I think it's kind of garbage and boring. Mm-hmm. But there's this one show that Netflix released called The Circle.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a reality show where they take like I think it was 7, 8 people. I don't know. They take a group of people. They put them in this hotel, this big building, and none of them are allowed to leave their apartment. But they can all socialize in this like social media app that they share. And they have to vote for like who's the biggest influencer and stuff. And the reason I like it is, one, it related to me as a YouTuber, as an influencer kind of thing. And then I thought the concept was really interesting because these people don't.
Why would you be embarrassed
meet.
about watching that?
It's not
really
so much that I'm
unique.
embarrassed. It's just it goes against my typical like
why
flow. I
the
don't know.
concept's awesome.
It is a good concept.
I'm gonna go watch this now.
You should. It's actually really good. I really enjoyed it. But they release 4 episodes a week, and so it was a 3-week event, and my wife and I would binge the 4 episodes. I'm like, oh man, that was awesome. Now we have to wait a freaking week, but we'd get really excited for when it came out.
Oh, I think because they can't see each other physically, they can only communicate through this social media thing.
Correct.
Okay, see, what I like about that is you don't get any of this dumb, like, tough violence guys where it's like, oh, I'm tough guy, I'm gonna beat you up. And then all these dumb,
kind
like...
of that. Like,
yeah, what's he gonna do, yell at him through the wall?
I know, but, like, you can lie about who you are on the social media thing. So, like, you could be catfishing people. And that played a huge part, like, people pretending to be somebody else. It was really cool. It was really fascinating.
That's... Okay.
I would highly recommend it. It was pretty fun to watch. I got sucked into that. Like I said, I'm not really into reality stuff, but I really enjoyed that show.
Nice. Well, I'll have to check that out because I think that's kind of a cool concept.
Yes. Now that we've successfully talked about anime in The Circle from Netflix.
Yeah. What I think the only other one that we kind of talked, or I don't remember if we talked about it, the Alita Battle Angel. I think we brought that one up.
Maybe a little bit. I think Alita Battle Angel was good. I actually
seen
enjoyed
it yet, so I can't say.
I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. Like, I thought it was just fun. I thought it was a fun ride. It was kind of cliche, and I thought I was gonna hate like the anime eyes and stuff. But after watching it for a little while, you kind of grow into it.
That's what I heard. Is it's weird at first.
It's really weird.
That's kind of how anything is.
But after like the first 10 minutes, you don't even notice anymore. Like, it just becomes a part of that character.
Okay.
And they explain it too, so they have a reason for it. It's not just there because they wanted it to be.
Okay. Have you seen the actual show then, or the manga or whatever it was?
I knew nothing about it, and I think that's why
I wonder
I'm totally
if they
fine
had
with
an
it.
explanation for it in that.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I did no research on the anime because, again, I have this personal theory that, like, if you watch a movie before the book, or if you watch an adaptation before the original content, I think you enjoy the adaptation more because you don't know anything about the original content.
That's
and then
fair.
The original content will flesh out what you just watched.
Oh, okay. Well, Smiley, can you go and fact check that for us?
Yes, Smiley.
And if you
check
don't,
that.
we're stripping your fact checking title from you because you have been slacking.
You've been slacking so hard, Smiley. If I
So
don't see
many
a comment We're taking the fact check roll away.
So many times we've said over the last while, hey, Smiley, can you fact check that? And you don't even know that we requested you to fact check it.
What are you doing to our fans, Smiley? You're letting everybody down.
Yeah, and we're disappointed. So fact check that or you're done with your title. I'm going to take it away from you. Oh, God. Okay, this isn't related.
Okay.
There's a Minecraft server that I do stuff with. It's like a heavily modded one. Smiley's wanting to get in on it, and he was really, really pumped about these griffins because you can tame them and fly them around. And he was always coming in and talking to us on stream where it's just like, okay, guys, tame the griffin. It's great. There's all these things you can do. So I went and I did this. There's a thing in the mod pack for blood magic, and I made a blood altar. And I needed more blood in the blood altar. So I found a griffin. And I threw a leash on it, and I brought it over to the blood altar, and instead of taming it, I sacrificed it.
Holy shit, that's dark.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So, and then I clipped it, so I haven't sent it to him yet, but I'm going to send that to him.
That's
Because he was really passionate about the griffins, and then I murdered one. And it didn't even give me anything out of it. It was a waste of time which I thought made it even better.
Pure evil, Ted.
Don't worry about it, Zio. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Jeez.
But then we've also got Edge of Tomorrow, which technically isn't an anime. It's a light novel, but I mean, there's a kind of a gray area.
See, I didn't even know that until you mentioned it to me, and I gotta say, I really liked Edge of Tomorrow. I think that's a good movie.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my god! Why would you bring it up?
Yeah. Well,
but no,
you've seen it.
That's true. I haven't seen it. It is really good. I highly suggest it. Tom Cruise is great. What's her name? Oh man,
Elizabeth.
No. I want to say it's Elizabeth, but
Alicia.
I think that's wrong. No, it's not Alicia.
Aaron.
No, she's John Krasinski's wife.
Michael Scott.
No, it's definitely not him.
Okay.
Gosh, dang it! I don't know.
Does Michael Scott's movie count as an adaptation?
What? What are you talking about?
He made a movie in The Office.
Did he? I don't remember that.
Guys, Zio is no longer in the cool circle.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm looking up Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
I can't remember her name for some reason. And it's
is it
killing me.
important to what we're talking about? Zio?
Emily Blunt. No, I just had to know.
That's
like
what
Emily
I told
Blunt.
you.
I think she was great.
Well, that's good, because there was a lot of good things about Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, how would you know? You haven't seen it.
I don't know. I'm just trying to be a part of this.
You almost got me there. You almost got me.
People said stuff, and I was listening, all right?
I was about to agree with you, and you just kind of go off on a tangent about it. But I did enjoy it. I think the biggest reason I enjoyed it because it involved time travel. And I love time travel as a subject for movies and books.
Oh, see, I thought it was like another dimension type thing. Time travel's kind of cool.
Yeah, you should watch it.
I might have to check it out.
You're definitely gonna have to.
I'm busy playing Final Fantasy VII.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, I don't usually watch movies.
So
unless it's like an anime adaptation of something that I really like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my question to you would be, if you got to pick one anime you'd love to see adapted, what would you adapt?
Steins Gate.
Just right off the bat, Steins Gate, huh?
Steins Gate, hands down.
That's a pretty intense one.
Although I wouldn't let the Americans do it.
Well, it has to be an Americanized adaptation.
Crap. I mean, then it would be Cowboy Bebop, but they're already doing that, so I can't really say that, can I?
Okay.
That's tough.
I would love to see Darker Than Black.
Oh, that would be... Okay, Psycho-Pass.
Psycho-Pass would be great, actually.
Psycho-Pass.
Yeah.
And Darker Than Black.
You need to get... For Psycho-Pass, you would need to get the director who did Blade Runner 2049.
Oh,
he would do it justice.
That would be so cool. He would do that movie
justice.
There's a second season of Psycho-Pass, and I didn't know that.
There's a movie and a third season.
Either.
There's a third season.
There's a third season, too.
Yeah.
I've got to catch up on this stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I've been watching too much Naruto.
Good. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, I would love to see Darker Than Black. That's one of my favorite animes, and the concept, I think, would be really cool to see in a live-action piece.
That would be really sweet. Although, you're going to hate hearing this. I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Darker Than Black, and I thought they were fantastic, and then I didn't finish watching it.
You should watch it. It's really good. The
Is
second
the
season
But
is
I ended up
pretty
watching, but I also started watching Psycho-Pass at the same time, and I really liked Psycho-Pass. I love the psychological stuff. That's where it's like, oh, yeah.
Me too. I think Darker Than Black, I think what carried me more through that anime is the concept of it more than the storyline. Because it does have some filler episodes too. And the ending is kind of, it's all right. It ends in a spot where it looks like it could continue, and then they did the second season, and it just wasn't good.
Did they?
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. But
the
overall,
more we talk about
it,
the more we talk about it, there is one series that I think there's no way they'd be able to mess up, and they do a really, really good job at it.
What's that?
Dragon Ball.
They've already messed that one up. It's fine.
There's no way, right? Bunch of tough guys punching each other.
I don't think they could make it worse.
I don't think so.
I think if they did it again, it would definitely be better no matter what they did.
Well, because they've already reached the bottom of the barrel. So.
That's true. They already did a terrible job. Now, before
goodness.
the podcast, I know you mentioned, we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it, I think, but I know you mentioned, you said J.J. Abrams is going to do Your Name.
Yeah, so J.J. Abrams, what do you know, going from Star Wars to Your Name? I'm
so
excited
different.
for it. See, I love what he did with The Force Awakens. It is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And I think the way Your Name is, the chances of him screwing it up are less than some of the other people out there.
We'll see.
I don't know.
See. I mean, it doesn't... Your Name, it's very different from anything he does, because he likes to do, like, weird things and, like, mystery things, and he likes to keep you kind of guessing and things like that. With Your Name, it doesn't
Your
have
Name does that too.
I guess it does have that twist towards the end, but...
He does have a bit more of kind of, like, his movies have a bit more of a cinematic feel to them.
Cinematic fantasy. Well, granted, Your Name is very cinematic. Your Name is the most cinematic anime in existence.
Yeah, pretty darn, it was pretty darn up there. And it's, I don't know, I think it's already a movie, all right? It's already got a set length. It's not like he has to cut stuff out.
Part of what makes Your Name amazing, though, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to do it justice, is things that blew me away about Your Name. So, like, before Your Name, I didn't even like slice of life anime. Like,
I know there was something wrong with you.
Your Name turned me because it was so good. One, just the characters felt pretty believable. I actually believed in the characters. It was just beautiful to look at. Like, the entire anime is just gorgeous. So, like,
movie.
Well, it's still a movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's an anime movie. Transitioning from beautiful animation to a live action setting, I think he's going to have to really take a stylistic approach just to kind of compare. And then the last thing is the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack for that movie is top notch. Like, I still listen to the soundtrack for that movie on a regular basis. Anytime I'm editing,
awesome.
And I'm like, if I'm doing thumbnails and stuff, I listen to the Your Name soundtrack.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I mean, it is really good. I never thought of it as being that good, but yeah, you know, it is kind of, I guess, on that lines.
It's a very emotional. It's one of the first, like, not a whole lot of movies make me feel things, but Your Name made me feel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it stuck with me. By the way, Weathering with You is also great.
Weathering with You?
It's his next
is that the
movie
one where
after
it's
Your
like
Name.
That's the one where in the picture of, like, the art of the movie, it's like some guy with an umbrella and it's like raining on him or something as he's like walking up to this garden thing on like a rooftop, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay. You had to look, you started to raise your eyebrows. I'm like, am I like totally
I was kind of confused at first, but yeah, no. Yeah, it totally is. It's by the same people that did Your Name. The exact same director really and team. It even has the same band. So the Radwimps did the music for Your Name. They also did Weathering with You.
Oh, that's awesome.
Music's just as good. Animation's just as gorgeous. The story's really good too. I really liked it. Both movies are phenomenal.
I think the only tough part, because it's 90% of the movie, I think translates really well over into like America. It's basically just you need a big city and a small city, and they communicate with each other. The only issue is, how are they going to translate the whole end of the movie? I don't want to say anything if people haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen Your Name and you want to see
I
Your
don't think
Name.
we should spoil it, Zio. I think anybody that's seen it knows enough. There's some see, it's so good, and the movie is still kind of more on the recent side.
Like, while you're right, they could just transpose cities and towns. The culture's pretty deep in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
it'll be interesting.
I'm curious to see what he's gonna do.
Because we have some stuff that could translate over well with more of like the Native American background stuff, but that I don't know if that's the route that they would want to go with it, because that's tricky to find ways for it to.
Yeah, that would be tricky. What city do you think they'd choose? It's gonna be Chicago or New York. It's gonna be one of them.
Well, you may not know this, but I'm actually starring in it, and they've chosen Edmonton and Devon as.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so. I'm the main character. I'm playing the role of the girl.
The girl.
Yeah. Channing Tatum is playing. It's gonna be great.
I guess before all this comes to that, I have to. Who do you think they'll cast?
I honestly have no idea. I hope they pick no names.
I hope they pick no names too.
Because there's the magic of no names where we don't know who they are, and they fit the role so much better. There's some movies that work really well with it. Doesn't matter if it's someone that's well known, but a movie like that, for it to be truly as powerful as the anime is, I think it needs to be people that we haven't really seen much of.
Okay.
If they pick Rupert Grint and like some other whoever plays one of the people in Twilight, I'm gonna be mad, because I don't want people that are that famous. I'm
gonna go off on a limb.
Yeah,
I'm gonna predict it right now. I think they're gonna cast Tom Holland as the main guy.
You just love Tom Holland.
I do like Tom Holland, but Tom Holland's really hot right now.
If he was in every movie, I think he's the one actor that you'd be okay with being in every movie. Like, if you were basically said, like, if someone walks up and said, I'm going to give you $1 billion, but you have to pick one actor that's going to be in every movie that you see for the rest of your life, I bet you'd be like, all right, Tom Holland.
I don't know. It's not about my love for Tom Holland. I do really like him. I think he's a perfect Spider-Man, but I'm telling you, he's just hot right now. Like, he's in everything.
Yeah, but we need someone... like the typical. I mean, I don't know.
I think they would pick Tom Holland.
He is a good actor. He could do it.
They would pick Tom Holland, and then for the girl.
But isn't the main character the guy? Isn't he like a little bit more of like a? He's not like a tough guy, but he's more of like that reserved. At least at the start of the movie, he's more of that reserved kind of like, this is my life, this is who I am. But he shy and stuff.
The reason I wouldn't say he's shy at all. I think he's just a normal dude. He just likes architecture.
Dude. So are you telling me? Are you telling me that because I can't relate to him, I'm not normal?
Yes, Ben.
Okay.
I'm predicting it. Tom Holland is cast. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna say it's not gonna happen. He's in too many other movies. There's too many other movies that he's got on his.
They need the star power to draw people in. Tom Holland will do it.
But there are a few others that we're not going to have too much time to talk about. But One Piece is apparently getting a adaptation for live action.
Interesting.
Mobile Suit Gundam is getting one as well. That one, I believe, is a little bit farther along than One Piece, because they've actually had...
Also just a short film.
Oh, the Mobile Suit Gundam's a short film?
Yeah, it's not a movie, it's just a short film.
What's interesting is I believe it's supposed to take place after the events of Mobile Suit Gundam. So it's not. They're not.
They're releasing a live-action short film and an anime at the same time.
Oh, are they?
So I think it might be connected to that.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Well, hopefully that'll be good. But I've got another one. This is an exciting one for you, so you're gonna be pumped for this. We've already talked about it before.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Death Note 2, baby! Woo! And the only reason why it's being made is because enough people watched it on Netflix that Netflix was like, well, sure, we'll do another one. People watched it.
I don't know what they would even do.
I
mean, obviously, the way the movie ended,
it.
they could continue it, but like,
maybe it's gonna be like an entirely new thing, where it's gonna branch off from Death Note, and it's just gonna be one of those. It's just an alternate reality of Death Note, so that's why everything's different, Zio. That's why the character's different. It's because it's an alternate reality. It's the only explanation I can give you.
I don't know. Honestly, what they should have done with Death Note, instead of following the actual storyline, they should have just made up a whole new storyline for it.
Well, by the sounds of what you've said, that's pretty much what they did.
But they kept the names of the original characters. If they had just changed the names of the characters, they probably would have been fine.
They should have just done it in like another country. It's like these are a series of events.
It is in another country. It happened in America instead of Japan.
Oh, okay. I don't know, Zio. I got nothing for you then.
All right.
Oh, we didn't talk about. We were going to talk about in the last podcast. We brought up the question.
Oh, the question of the week.
The question of the week was, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was something.
Hold up, I'm pulling it up. I'm going to go to it. We're going to find it. It's perfectly fine. Go to our channel. I'm going to click on the community tab.
Oh, yeah, because guys, we have a community tab now.
Yeah, we have a community tab. I'm scrolling down. So the question of the week was, what is more important? Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Okay, go for it. I was doing a drum roll, but it was too late. You already started talking.
What is more important in a video game, the journey or the conclusion?
Mm-hmm.
So we had 32 votes. Thank you for everybody who voted.
Survey says
the winner is the journey because
good.
The journey's way more impactful than the ending. Apparently,
if the journey sucks, you're not going to get to the ending.
That's true.
Unless
the journey
unless you hate yourself or you want those achievement points.
Yeah.
See ya.
But I feel like, what would you vote for, Ben?
Well, I thought we had different opinions on this, but we ended up having the same opinions. Spoiler. You already know what Zio's vote's going to be. It's the journey. It has to be.
I agree with you, but I disagree with your choice. I think for you, it's the conclusion, because if you get a spoiler for the game, you won't play it.
That
silence is my mic drop, everybody.
No, I mean, you brought up a valid point. I still, I hate spoilers of any kind, because I want to go into a game and I want to be confused and not sure what's going on, and then I want to be hit at the end with a bomb drop where then my brain's just like, oh, what, all these things, what, these are the connections, what, oh my goodness, I was wrong the whole time, I thought he was the villain, but it turns out he was the villain and he was the good guy, and it's just like explosions all over the place. That's what I want to experience. But you can't get that without a really well-done journey. The journey...
But the reason I say is because you won't watch Death Note because you already know how it ends.
Well, yeah, because I already know what the journey is. I mean, to a degree.
Do you, though?
Not really.
Okay, then.
But I know the major parts, the parts that I would be looking forward to finding out. When I watch a show, I hate it when they explain things to me like I'm an idiot, because I want to go through it asking questions. I don't want to know everything. I don't want to know all the answers. I want to be able to end the thing and be like, wow, this is so cool. That still doesn't make any sense. How could that have been tied in? And then I think it's close. I think the ending's really important, but it's the journey. You can have a good journey and a bad ending, and you can have a bad ending and a good journey. But if the journey's good, the ending's better.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
It's like you can't have the world's greatest ending without a fantastic journey, and that's why the journey is important, and that's why journey is the most important thing.
All right.
My best example, the Mass
81%
Effect
of the
trilogy.
audience, 81% of the audience agrees with you.
Cool. The journey was fantastic. The ending was horseradish.
Yep.
So, but I still love it. Whereas
So-
if the journey was crap and then the ending was okay, I would not recommend the game to anybody.
Okay.
Be like, it's not worth it. Don't play it.
So do we have another question of the week?
I forgot about the question. I mean, yes, we do. Zio,
course.
tell them.
I'm coming up with the question of the week. Okay.
Did Prek die?
I'm trying to think of a multiple choice one because I feel like people voting would be way easier.
Dude,
than
I trolled
asking
people
a
so
question.
hard, and it felt so good. I had people coming into my stream asking, is he really,
Really?
dead? Are you
Really?
leaving? They were like, are you leaving next to nothing? I'm like, no. I'm not leaving, but is he dead? I guess you'll have to find out.
Really, people came in and asked that?
People came into my stream that have never come to my stream before.
That's pretty awesome.
And asked, are you leaving game?
That's pretty awesome.
It felt so good. So I'm gonna do a call out quickly here. While you still come, I'm gonna give you some more time to come up with a question.
All right, I'm gonna ponder.
Okay, who was it? I think it was Ender Creep. We had him convinced pretty good of what was going on, with the whole ending thing, and then I go and I message him after, and I sent him like a little trolley face, and then you know what he says? Oh, I knew the whole time. I was just fooling you into thinking you fooled me. Screw you, Ender. No. I got you good. He's not gonna watch the podcast, so I can call him out like this. So it's fine.
I got it.
All right, hit me with it.
What anime do you want to see adapted in the next few years?
That's garbage, Zio.
And then I'll put a list of animes in the polls.
We gotta ask like a yes or no question.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
I'll put a list in the polls for people to
Now
vote.
but you're creating the list that they get to choose from. That's not fair.
I created the question. Fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Out of these animes, which one do you want to see adapted? My Hero Academia. Spen, give me one.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z. Give me another one.
Psychopaths. Darker Than Black.
Darker Than Black. Steins Gate.
Ooh, Steins Gate, yeah. But not just like an American adaptation.
Full Metal Alchemist.
They've already done that.
Not American.
Oh no, they didn't. That's right.
Yeah.
I think 7's good.
Okay. I'll probably
And then
out.
leave comments down below if there's ones that you thought we should have put in that we didn't.
Yeah, if there's ones we haven't put in there, leave a comment down below and tell us which one you
Zio
think.
will do a push-up for every one that is not in the list that you guys add in the comments down below.
Oh. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. No
Okay.
one really comments, that's fine.
But that's pretty much all the time we got for the podcast, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Woo!
Have
Thank
yourselves
you.
a good rest of your week.
Yes.
And
yes.
we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
The other
Right?
side.
That's
that
the
has
cool
been
hip thing
flipped.
that people are saying these days,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Cool.
We're not old.
I mean, they said it back in like Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, so it's still got to be cool.
Yeah, totally.